Hey Cal fans, and welcome to this week's installment of the football film study here at California Golden Blogs. In this week's video, we're going to look at how the Cal defense matched up against Washington's run game, and especially against their inside zone running plays. Now, when it comes to zones, something that our own line coach Steve Greatwood always emphasizes is that there are a lot of different ways to accomplish the same thing. And with that in mind, I want to look back at the video from last week and remember how Oregon was able to use the threat of a quarterback run on the zone read to block a backside defender and open up a cutback lane for the running back. Obviously, Washington's got a different kind of offense, and Jake Browning's a different kind of quarterback. And so in this video, we're going to see how Washington was able to use multiple tight end sets and unbalanced formations to open up those same cutback lanes that Oregon created with the threat of a quarterback run. Oregon's success in the previous week was a simple matter of math. We can see here that Cal's got 4 defenders to the right side of the center, and that Oregon's got 3 blockers plus the threat of a quarterback run, which is going to let them account for all 4 defenders and open up an empty lane for the running back. On this play, we're going to see that Washington was able to open up that same cutback lane and achieve that same effect, but in the absence of a quarterback run game, they had to do it with personnel and especially with their formation. Now, what I want us to see here is that Washington is using an unbalanced formation. So what does that mean? On every play, the offense has to have at least 7 players lined up on the line of scrimmage. When they don't do that, that's when you hear those too many men in the backfield penalties getting called. So the offense always has to have at least 7 players on the line. And the vast majority of snaps, they're going to be playing in a balanced formation, which means that the center will be in the middle, there will be 3 guys on the line to his left, and 3 guys on the line to his right. And what we see here on this play, though, is that Washington isn't doing that. They're in an unbalanced formation. We've got the center right here, and there are only 2 guys on the line to his left, and then 4 guys on the line to his right. Washington's use of this unbalanced formation is actually going to have some interesting consequences. And to see why, we need to review the rules for eligible receivers. And we know that the offense has to have 7 players on the line of scrimmage, but there's another important rule that says that out of those 7 players, only the 2 on the ends are eligible receivers. So only 1 guy on the left end and 1 guy on the right end are eligible to catch the ball. And what that means on this formation is that this tight end is actually an ineligible receiver. He can't get the ball because there's another guy on the line of scrimmage, this split end, who is outside of him. That split end covers up the tight end and makes that tight end an ineligible receiver. So the question is, why has Washington chosen to go with a formation that takes one of their potential receiving threats, a tight end, and makes it impossible for him to get the ball? More specifically, why couldn't Washington have just made this a balanced formation? Why couldn't they have pulled this tight end up to the line of scrimmage, pulled this backside tight end off the line of scrimmage? They still would have had the exact same number of blockers on each side of the formation. It's just now all of their receivers would have been eligible. As with the Oregon example, it all comes back to numbers. So before the snap, we see that Washington's got 3 blockers to the left of center, and Cal's got 4 defenders who can outnumber them to that side. On the backside, Washington's also got 3 defenders, and Cal can get 4 defenders back there, including the nose tackle, to outnumber them to that side as well. So Cal has numbers on both sides of the formation before the snap. What Washington gains by pulling this tight end off the line of scrimmage, though, is the ability to bring him behind the offensive line and across the formation, and that's going to be key to opening up the cutback lane here. When Washington brings that tight end across the formation, that's going to give the Huskies 4 blockers to the center's right. And that means that Cal's going to need 5 defenders to outnumber those blockers, and it's just going to be really hard from this pre-snap alignment for them to get 5 backside defenders. These 4 blockers are going to have really good angles to block these 4 defenders, and the tight end coming across the formation is going to kick out the outside linebacker and open up this cutback lane, effectively letting him do the same job as the threat of a quarterback run did in Oregon's zone read game. Another thing that Washington's coaches did really well is they were able to use their personnel and their formations to force our cornerbacks to make tackles in the run game. So if we look at this formation, we see that once again, Washington's got 2 tight ends on the back side of the run. They're not bringing a tight end across the formation here, but they're just lining up a second tight end to the back side of the play. And so that's going to give Washington 4 blockers to the right of center, and Cal can get 5 defenders to outnumber those 4 blockers. So numerically in the box, it looks like we're in good shape here. But what they're going to do is use this receiver to crack back on this safety, and that's going to force our cornerback here, Elijah Hicks, to come down and make this tackle for no gain, which he's not going to be able to do. On this play, instead of a crackback block, they use motion to do the exact same thing. So here, Washington again has 4 blockers to the right of center, and Cal can easily get 5 defenders to outnumber those 4 blockers. But when they bring this receiver in motion across the formation, that's going to pull this outside linebacker out of the box and pull our cornerback into the box. He's going to be responsible for filling this run lane, but as a cornerback, he's not going to be able to do that, and they're going to get a nice gain. Now, unlike the Oregon game, the Washington game wasn't all doom and gloom, at least not for the run defense. I think you could definitely say that our base run package did a really good job against Gaskin. He had one of his least efficient games of the season against us. We held him under 100 yards total, under 4 yards per carry. We did some really nice stuff, especially with our stunt package. I just focus on these unbalanced formations because from a scheme standpoint, they're the things that are most interesting. And really, this is the thing that Chris Peterson and the Washington offense does so well. They throw a variety of formations at you. They use their personnel groupings in creative ways, and they create these opportunities even when you're doing a good job stopping them just in terms of their base package. All right, that's going to do it for this Washington breakdown. Come back in another 2 weeks where we finally get to look at another Bears win and our fantastic defensive performance against Washington State. And until then, go Bears!